journey started as a homeless. People is passing in front of you and say, oh, be careful, the homeless man is over there. But I didn't give up. The trading is not easy. You always be top to your game. You always be adapting the market. You always be checking everything. Last 2 months, what I was doing, it was great. But let me guess, I'm in the red right now. Why? Because it's not working. I think most of the traders, they think that they're gonna make the big money in right away. That's the biggest mistake. Trading is show you who you are.
How did you find the strategy that works for you?
It's
Wow, this number really blows my mind. Over 75% of you who watch the show regularly are not subscribed. If you enjoy the show and want to support us, the easiest and also free way is just to hit that subscribe button. This will help us find new and better guests, and I promise you to continue to work at making this show better and bringing you more value.
Welcome back, everybody, to Be the Trader. Today is going to be a fun and fantastic day because I got my boy Eric here, who's been trading for a little over 8 years, and you are going to need to listen to his story. When I first heard it, it was amazing. So I appreciate you coming here, my friend,
welcome,
and sharing
Alex.
it with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. So tell us a little bit about how you got into trading, but a little bit right before you got into it.
Okay. I've been in this United States since 2003. I came 2003. I was in Turkey. I born in Turkey. I go to college. I finished international business and economics in Turkey. So I have the big dream to come here and do my MBA, get stuff. But unfortunately, life has a different plan for me. So I came here. It was Saturday, and my aunt's husband was here. He'd been here like almost 30 years. So he picked me up. He drive me around a little bit. He showed the around and everything. It was very different the first time I've seen the United States. So we go to home, and he called me, said that, listen, tomorrow I'm heading back to Turkey for good. And I was like this, what? And he said that, don't worry about it. You are smart, you can do it and everything. And I came up with a little money. I was like this really good student at the college. I have the scholarship for the, present. I have the scholarship for the, my college points. So I was getting good money. I save it, and I get really nice phone.
Mm-hmm.
So he asked me about, how much money I bring it, what I bring it. I told him I came up with the $500 and, with the really nice phone. He said that you're not going to be able to use that phone in here. So he take it, and he said that you have to pay the, your rent. So I give him $300. Then next morning we get up, we take him to JFK, we bring him to JFK. He flew back to Turkey. So I came up and I was sitting in the room and I'm thinking what I have to do. And his roommate came up and said that, listen, Wednesday we have to pay the rent. You need to pay the money. And I told him I paid the money. And he said, no, your uncle didn't give me the money. And I said, fine. So I was, very young. I was 18 and by myself. So Monday morning I get up and I start to walk around. I have the pen and paper. I was writing, where I make the left, where I make the right, and I was looking the job, but nobody knows me and I don't speak English at this time, and I didn't find anything. Same thing is happening Tuesday. I get up early until the sun's done. I walk, hours, and I come back as nothing. The Wednesday, that's the time is changed the life. Wednesday I go, I check the job and nothing came up. And I came back to us around 5 o'clock. I came up, I tried to open the doors was locked, and I keep trying the key. And all of a sudden, like this 5 minutes later, I have 3-4 cops car. They came up and they talking with me, I know something is wrong, but I don't understand anything, So I asked them to pen and paper and they write it. They said that, I shouldn't be in here. I don't have any legality to stay over there, or, I shouldn't be stay. And I explained to them, I give them to rent, and they said that no. So I asked them gently to get my bag. I have the one backpack. So they get me to my backpack and I start walking. The last time I remember, I walked about almost 6 hours nonstop because, I have so much things in my head, what I have to do, what, how it's going to be work. So I find that the wooded area, and I decided to get in the wooded area. I get an old way inside, and it's the only way I have to stay. So and I holding my bag, and I stayed there over there that night. And I have two options. One, I'm gonna expect fail, and I have to try to go back to Turkey, or I'm just gonna keep continue fighting. When I was kids, all the cousins, we go to my grandmother's house. She has the farmhouse. She has a lot of apples, cherry, and all these houses, she had trees. What do? We get the like this plastic, we surrounded the plastic around the tree and make it look like my house, your house, play. So I remember that, and I start asking all the gas stations if I can get some plastic. And one of the gas station, the guy was nice, and he gave me a garbage bag. He gave me like 4 or 5 garbage bag. I came back to wooded area, and I start to, like this 2 3 trees I surrounded, and I start to put the plastic, and I dig the hole, I buried in my, backpack, and I start to stay over there. That's, that was my journey started as a homeless,
I want to take a couple of seconds to say thank you to our sponsor, Cobra Trading. Cobra Trading is the go-to broker for short sellers. And I'm not the only one saying this. In fact, Benzinga awarded Cobra Trading as the go-to broker for short sellers. And Forbes Advisor did an exhaustive research on day trading brokers. And Cobra Trading was the only broker awarded in 2 categories. One of them being customer service. They have a heavy focus on direct market access order routing, so you have the fastest execution. They have some of the best locate prices and availability. Look, I've experienced many different brokers, and it's why I choose to use them every single day, and I'm proud to have them as our sponsor. Sign up now by using the link below, and Cobra Trading will give you 100 days of free commission, 3 months of free software, and 33% off commission for life. Now let's get back to the show.
How did you like come out of that? Because that's very tough.
I believe that the human, it's amazing, creative, stuff like this. If you want anything, you can do it. At this time, I don't have options. When you don't have options, you do everything. Like this, again, I have to go back to Turkey and say I fail, but the reason I came here, I want to take care of my family. My father drive tractor trailer 40 years. I grow up without the father because he always on the road. So I want to take care of him. I don't want him to be on the road. So I have 2 options. I'm going to be stay in the wooded area, survive, or I have to go back and accept it. But I decided to fight. It wasn't easy, man. It was, all these days, it was hard, and it's put me a lot of point in my inside, because people is passing in front of you and say, oh, be careful, the homeless man is over there. Be careful, homeless man is over there, But I didn't give up. I always fight. I always try to do something. Like this, I was find the gas station work, and, they hire me. Unfortunately, the guy, he wasn't really a nice person, but, he said that to me, I have to work 2 weeks free, which is I did it. I was working 18, 19 hours a day. I was pumping gas, then walking, it's about hour and a half, and going to wooded area, sleeping over there, and get up again and come in and pumping the gas. That's how I started. I was homeless about 6 months.
When, like, what happened next after, because I know I know some of the story, right? You were working for this guy, and then didn't you also work another job too?
Yeah, so what happened, I worked in this gas station, 18, 19 hours a day, okay? And I started learning a little bit English. And at this time, it was tough for me because, again, I don't have the money to start it. So what I have like this $200. And what I did it, they have the bagels. In the nighttime, what they do, they throw all the old bagels, which is I didn't know the rules. And they were calling me and selling me all the old bagels. I was buying all the bagels, 50 cents. I was buying 2 3 bagels because I was thinking, eat it one in the nighttime, one in the next morning when I come open the gas station 5 a.m. Then after I will eat it in the lunch. So, I started working like this. I work about 2 3 months, straight, and I started knowing the people. I started learning a couple of words in English, and started talking. And after that, I start to see, stuff. And one of the manager in the 7-Eleven, she wants to work with me, and she said that come, let's work in the 7-Eleven. So I start to work over there too after the gas station. So I was working gas station in the 7-Eleven. I lowered my hours in the gas station, and you start to get to know the people. Then I start to get into construction. That's how I continue.
And then what happens next? Because, I know I want everyone to hear your story completely, because I think it's very important to see. I mean, you're showing people right now that it doesn't matter, what happens, but pushing through and keep going. You have a strong heart, and I really appreciate you sharing this. So
Thank you.
you go in construction, and
Yeah. And what happened at this time, like this, I have the personality to fight. I always fight. I always try to do my best. And of course, some circumstances not good. Like this, I work in that gas station. Then after start the 7-Eleven, because my point is, I've been walking, and walking to that wooded area, stay in the wooded area, come. And where I live in Long Island, you need to have car. For car, you need to have money. So I decided I have to work more harder. So I get into construction. I working in the construction. They will pick me up in the morning, 7 o'clock. Then I will work in the construction between 8 to 5. Then they drop me. Then I go to 7-Eleven, take the shift in around 5:30 till work midnight. Then midnight I go cross the street, work in the gas station. And until in the morning today pick me up in the gas station. I was taking maybe 1 hour, 2 hours nap in the gas station when nobody is around between 2 a.m. to 3 a.m.
yeah.
And nobody knows that I was like this. They think that I go to gas station today gonna pick me up, but I was working over there. And I keep pushing myself because only thing in my head, I need to take care of my family. That's all.
How long did you do that for?
I did it about almost 3 years. Then I had I buy the cars, everything was going good, but I had a big accident. That was another life changing, because I was, my body is shot. And how it's work. So I saved the money, and I decided to buy a car.
Yep.
One of the guy was going back to Turkey, and I was begging him to sell me the car. I was calling him and begging, and he say, no, I only have $2,500 money. I, like this collected. And he was selling the car at the time 3,500, and he don't want to go down. I was like this calling. Finally, he accepted sell me the car. So I go and I give him my promise. I say, listen, I give you the less money, but I promise I give you that money. I will send it to you. So what happened, I get the car. I was so happy. I take the car to car wash. I wash it, and everything is good. It was in late February, beginning of March, and we have a little snowstorm came up. Okay, so I was going to work in the construction. All of a sudden, the front of the car the engine is blow up. I was in the bridge. I spin. I hit the rails. Then thank God I was live and nothing happened. I get out of the car. The cops came. Everybody. They take it out the car. They bring the car to a mechanic, one of the mechanic, and he knows the car. He said that car was dead. I don't know why you bought it, and I didn't know. The guy sold it to me. So then I go back to zero again. Started the walking or bicycle.
Were you in an apartment, or were you at?
I was at this time. I just moved to one apartment with the 6 guys.
Okay.
We were living
Sharing.
in one. Yep, like this. It was I moved to apartment. 1 week later, I get that car. So I was like so happy. My life is
It's changing.
and start to going good. But then the cars blow up, and
Now
I
you
was
lost all
back.
that money.
Yep, lost money and start working hard again.
Well, I'm curious, what happens next? Because I don't even know this part of the story. What happens next now?
So after that, I decided I have to push in more in construction, because they were doing a little higher pay, and I think that is going to be better. So I start to work in the construction for somebody, okay, and I get to learn the business. I learned everything, okay, and beginning the summer in the Hamptons is get so busy, and I start going to door, knock the door, and asking if anybody wants the paint job. My client, Mr. Gordon, he was in the outside, and he was washing his car. So I talk to him, and I ask him if he wants me to paint his house. He said that okay. So he bring me the inside and he asked me to price, but I have no clue about the price.
Yeah.
So I give the price what I was making in 7-Eleven, what I was making in gas station, and I look at the job. I say I will finish up in a week. So I give him 2 weeks paid what I'm making in 7-Eleven, and he accepted.
Mm-hmm.
So I go over there with my one friends, and we start to working hard. We finished the whole job in 4 days. He came up in the afternoon, in the weekend. You know, all the Hamptons people came in Friday afternoon. He came Friday afternoon. He meet up with me. He loved the job, and and he asked me, "Do you know why I trust you?" And I told him like this. No, he said that you never asked me any money. You were so hungry to do the job, and you were so like this into this.
Yep.
And after that, he asked me if I can get any suit and go to him in Saturday. So I say okay. It was happening in West Hampton Beach, and I go meet up with him. He take me to the Jewish temple, and he introduced me to everybody. And he said that if anybody need a painting job, you guys gonna go through with him. So starting that, it start to get good. But people love to work with me because I was always honest, and I always, I have the OCD. I put my 100% effort.
Yep.
So
So this is around the point where I'm guessing you start to find trading. When does trading now come into the
so
picture?
trading came up in that point because my mostly client, they were, I started doing really good in the business, and it's going word of mouth, and everybody started hiring me. And all these people as I start to work, they are mostly hedge fund. They are the hedge fund guys. And I start to see their houses. And I was so happy to serve them. I was so happy to talk to them. But I start to see their, all these screens, all these computers, you've seen all this, stocks is going up and down, it's like this. I love that. And I start asking questions and information. I start to be getting really interested. But the real stuff like this, how I start, which is everybody started how this journey, everybody wants to make money, right? Yeah. So I was with one of the clients, and we were painting his house. He asked me about his garage. So I say, okay. I look at the job at this time. I told him I think is around $8,000-9,000. He said at 1 second he was trading. And I'm like just looking, is all the numbers is going up and down. The bars is going. He's trading. He say, what about 7,000? I say, it's really like this. We have to do a lot of prep. He say, what about 8,000? I say, okay. So it's like this. Click. And I ask him, did you do 8,000 right now? I say, yeah. Then I say, I want to start it. I want that business. So then of course there's nothing go like this. I start to get in. I open first account, I blow up.
Yep.
Second, I blow up. And the third, I say, I have to learn. Then how I start getting educated and all this stuff.
How long did it take you to kind of find your strategy or something that works for you?
It's take a while. I've been trading in between 8 to 9 years, but first definitely 3-4 years is nothing.
Yep.
I didn't make any money. Even if I make the money, I lost more than what I make.
Right.
Then I started making money, but I never be 100% trader to keep the money inside and grow it, because I always believe that the businesses. So whatever I make it, I take it out, I invested to different stuff.
To other things.
I invested to gas station, I invested to...
Because now you own a gas station.
Yes.
I own the 7-Eleven, I think.
And then we're starting the 7-Eleven right now. We're building the 7-Eleven. So I start to invest in all these things. I never keep the money inside and growing and showing, Because I always believe that, because my background, like this, how I was really good in Turkey.
Yeah.
And I was in plane, and next day I become a homeless. It's always I have the fear to, if something didn't work, I'm gonna get help from the other ones,
Yeah.
Like the construction is not gonna go good, maybe gas stations is gonna help me, or the 7-Eleven, or the other businesses.
Yep.
So I always I use the trading as a side income.
Yep. I love it you share that, because it just shows, depending on how your experiences kind of shapes your philosophy around how you want to view trading. And for you, it's another source of income to prevent what you went through. So what I'm curious about is, what was the hardest part in your trading journey? Because I mean, it's almost laughable for me to ask that because you went through so many hard things in life before. So, but I'm curious, like, was there ever like a moment in trading where you're like, this is just like impossible, or like I really can't get through this? Like any like doubt or anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. When you start to losing all these monies and you think that, you're not good with that, but you don't understand you need to adapt to market. Market is keep changing. Market is keep changing every month, every 2 months, Whatever you're doing right now, it's not working. It's not working. You need to, this is the hardest business or hardest, game. The trading is not easy. Everybody think that is easy. It's not easy. You always be top to your game. You always be adapting the market. You always be checking everything. Like last 2 months, what I was doing, it was great. But let me guess, I'm in the red right now. Why?
Yeah.
Because it's not working. It's not working. So that's take time to understand, adapting yourself to market. And the trading is show you really who you are. I fight a lot in life. With where I am right now, I came up with my, like this nails is, dragon. All these things I go through, it wasn't easy. Staying, being homeless, then working that hard. I had a car accident. When I say like that car is blew up, then I had another car and my body was so shot. So I was going 55 mile. I hit another car's back. My car is flipped 8 times. Then it's turn and start to, get fire. In the police report, my heart was stopped 32 seconds. That's the interesting part. Most of the people like this go crazy with that story because I was so done, and whatever I push hard, it's never worked. And I push it harder. I was working 20, 22 hours a day. So when that accident happened, I was in the car. I was stuck because the car is flipped 8 times and the front console is sitting in my lap like this in my stuff, and I was seeing myself. It has one woman came, it was the ambulance and everything. She was keep saying, stay with us, open your eyes, stay with us, open your eyes, don't be go, and she was like just hitting me and everything. I see myself, but I cannot do anything. And all of a sudden they like just cut the whole front and they take it out. I see myself start to go on, and I start to hearing in the back like this the helicopter is chopping. I see myself, and then like I literally watch myself. Then after they put me in the helicopter and they did the heart shot, I don't remember anything else. After that, in 2 months later, I opened my eyes in the hospital. I was in hospital. And I don't remember who I am. I don't remember anything. All I remember when I opened my eyes, I was laying down in the hospital. I have all these cables. I rip it because I was asked the nurse, what time is it? And she said it's 6 p.m. I said that I'm late to 7-Eleven. I was running in the hallway and they catch me. They said, where you go? I say, I need to get the shift. I cannot lose the job. So, it was tough. And then they bring me back and they said, no, you're okay. We get the permission. I don't remember anything. Then after I started, they telling me all I did in that hospital time. I was in hospital, almost 3 months when I, in the like I was in coma almost 2 months. And after the coma, I don't remember anything. All I did it in the hospital, asking everybody, do you want to paint your house? You want me to paint your house? Or what time is it? I have to go to 7-Eleven or I have to go to gas station.
This was after you already...
This is before my construction journey started.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So
after that, I start to get myself, and I said that to myself, it's going to kill me. I cannot do like this. Then I picked the construction.
That's when you focus.
Yeah. I picked the construction, and the construction is, I meet up with Mr. Gordon, and it's start to get better.
So I know people are going to be like, well, how does this guy trade? Like, how would you describe you trade? What's your style?
Okay. I'm the small cap trader. I do a lot of gap and crap, and first red day, overextended. I do a lot of this stuff. I trade, I'm the short base buyer and, long too.
Mhm.
I can be able to use the both sides, but most is the shorting. I do that one. But lately, I start to learning new, strategies. I'm looking at multi-day runner right now. I
Okay.
want to learn that one because again, when I traded, you know, making money, losing money, I taking money out and investing. But in this, community, everybody have to be like this. When it's a lot of fake traders,
Mhm.
it's a lot of fake peoples out there. So when they say, okay, how you doing, and you say good, they want to see, proof like this
Mhm.
what you did, which is I never have it because I always believe that take it and invest in the business. So I decided right now I'm gonna keep my account and start to growing up and show everybody.
Mm.
Like I opened the new account in December. I started December, January, February, which is I was doing all this shorting and stuff, but it's
Mhm.
not working right now. So I'm going to different strategy to learn and try to get educated myself and do better.
Mhm. I love that you share that because you're focused on even though you've been training for so long, and you use your trading profits to invest somewhere else, that you're also willing to adapt and learn new strategies along the way.
Otherwise, you cannot survive.
Right, you can't.
You
And
know,
what would you say a lot of new traders may focus on the wrong thing? Like, is there a wrong thing that most traders focus on when they're new that's not probably the best thing to focus on?
I think most new traders they think that they're gonna make the big money in right away. That's the biggest mistake. Second, they need a lot of screen time. Myself too.
Yeah.
Now I'm doing the new strategy. I have to run through a lot of tickers to see, you know, how they did it. Like this, I'm gonna look at it. Let's say yesterday, how the stock is daily, and I'm gonna guess what's gonna be happening, and I'm gonna look at it.
Yep.
So they need a lot of screen times. This is work with the screen times.
It's easy. Like you must have screen time, even if you just look at a strategy online. Like you think the screen time is still very important.
Of course, and then you're gonna start to trade it. Another thing is the FOMO. When you start to putting the real money,
Mm.
it's changing. It's changing, especially if you are start to go in wrong direction. Your game plan, let's say stock is gonna go,
Yeah.
3 to 5, and all of a sudden it's going 3 to 250.
Yeah.
Your brain is running crazy and say, I'm gonna lose all this money. I have to get out. I have to cut it. Because it's no plan.
Mm-mm.
You
And
know?
I'm curious on what advice would you have for any new traders who are going to start? Obviously, you said don't try to go for the money real quickly. How should they approach the market? Should they be approaching it different? Like, what should they be thinking before they get started?
I think it's that they have to, again, how I say, the trading is show you who you are.
Hmm.
I fight a lot in this stock. I'm the fighter. Even if it's against me, I don't, I make a mistake. I don't cut the quickly.
Yeah.
I fight. They should learn their self first, and then they start to see, who they are. Then they have to be honest to their self, who they are. Then they start to learning whatever strategies work for them.
Mm-hmm.
And after, if strategies start working good, it's good. But they have to keep it in their mind. It's always changing. Like I was doing in December, all the gap and crap. It's stock is going 4 cents to 90 cents. And when you look in the daily, maximum go to 95, 98. I was start shorting crazy in 90 cents, 91 cents, and it's going back, So I was making money. But right now when I shorted, stock started going down and all of a sudden it's ripping.
Yep.
And I'm like, no, it's gonna be go back. No, it's not gonna go back. And I started taking losses.
Yep.
Taking losses. And it's turning the snowball.
Yeah.
Like this,
How
it's crazy.
What is your plan? Because I know you've been through that in the past of like, maybe the snowball effect. And I know other traders who are getting started are going to face that as well. Do you have a plan or strategy to combat that or come out of the snowball?
I think what I'm doing right now, like I didn't trade yesterday and today.
Yep.
They need to give the break. You're gonna give a break and you're gonna analyze yourself why it's going like this.
Mm-hmm.
Mine like this, why I'm in this position, because I was believing what I was doing working perfect. Right now it's not working, but I still believing. I don't want to see the reality.
Yes.
So they have to give the break to figure out what's wrong and how they can change it. I think the break is the key, because if you keep showing up and you can show up, but see, how the trades go, but don't trade it, or take a break and first analyze yourself and say, okay, I make the mistake in this. Even you can write a paper, write the paper, whatever you make the mistake, and next day show up and just try, see if it's get better. If it's get better, following day get in the trade.
Before we start to wrap this up, I do want to know, how did you find like your strategy? Like, did you, everyone has their own unique way. Like some people, you have a set of people who want to track data. You have some people who are very visual, just like take a lot of snapshots of charts. Like, how did you find the strategy that works for you?
It's the screen time. I find it, and what I did it, I was right before December, I did a lot of screen time, and after December, I was doing, I was telling you exactly what's going to be happen, and it's happening. So I see it before it's happened. That's how I find the stuff. Then after it's continue, I don't track a lot of what I do. When after I trade it, I take a screenshot.
Yep.
I do all my trades screenshot, or even if I didn't trade it, some stocks was, differently, I take a screenshot, I print out, and I look at it, how the stock is came up with the volume or everything, what they did. That's how I figured out to myself what I'm good with, what kind of setup, because I know that how it's gonna rip and start to go on the sideways, and it's gonna rip and it's gonna be fail. I'm making all these lines, the key points. That's how I figured out.
I appreciate you sharing that, because I know there's people where I'm very similar to you, where I took a lot of screenshots, and I think it's very important that there's just two different ways, or probably even a third, fourth way of finding a strategy, right? So look, Eric, I know people are going to have tons of questions. They're going to want to learn more about you. Where can they learn and find out more about you?
They can be able to, find me in Instagram. I have the Ince NY is the New York. I'm from New York. So trades, that's the things, Ince NY trades. Or they can find me in the Twitter. It's the Ince NY1.
Okay.
So
and we'll have links down below, so that way you can easily find them. And again, my man, thanks for sharing that story.
Thank you, Alex.
Thanks,
appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for finishing today's episode. If you're watching on YouTube, please leave a comment below of one of the takeaways that you are going to implement into your own trading. And if you happen to be listening on a podcast platform, go ahead and leave us a review and let us know what you enjoy about today's episode, because that does go a long way in helping us continue to grow. Again, thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.